My fondest memory is of scoring 4 goals against Man United, at Man United. No one's ever done that. And the manager of the club after the game said, this guy's the greatest striker in Europe. Not in England, Europe. Yeah, and so that was my fondest memory. But I've also scored 4 goals against Chelsea and Aston Villa. But the thing is, this was my most important game to me. You know, so that's how it is. You know, that's how I'm going to go about it. Now, John McGrath was a character. He would, before every game, he'd roll up his sleeves as far as they would go, and he'd roll them right up, and he would put oil all over himself, everywhere, over his head, over his body, and just before he went out, and he was always the last man to leave to go into the field. Before he left, he'd go to the wall like this, and he'd knock his head 3 times against the wall, and that was unbelievable. Well, I scored a lot of goals for Southampton, but to me, because I loved the club so much, my favourite goal was when Bobby Stokes scored that goal against Manchester United and won the FA Cup. To me, that was fantastic. That club deserved it, and when that little boy scored that goal, I was absolutely thrilled. I was in America, and I was playing with George Best, and George said, Ronnie, guess what happened, man? I said, I've no idea. What happened? He says, Southampton beat Man United in the cup final. And I said, what? I couldn't believe it. I was so excited. It was incredible. Well, you know, the problem is I scored so many goals. You know, I was leading goal scorer most of the time. My first season I scored 43 goals, and I headed the whole country in goals. And but I think one of the greatest goals, because I was renowned for heading a ball, but I think one of my greatest goals was when I played against Aston Villa, the end of the season. I played against Aston Villa, and I got the ball at the edge of the box, and I turned and I hit this ball, and it went into the net, and it hit the stanchion in the back of the net and came out, and there was silence. Nobody knew. Did it go in or didn't it? I hit it hard. The referee said, yeah, you scored, and that was brilliant. That was one of my best. See, that game, I scored all 4 goals with my feet, and I wasn't renowned for my feet, but, you know, I always scored goals with my head. So, you know, that was a very special moment in my life, because that game at the end of the season made me the top goal scorer in Britain out of all the leagues. I got 43 goals in like 42 games. That ain't a bad record. Okay, yeah, well, it's always been my dream to play in the First Division. And I started off with Chester in the 4th Division, I built my way up, and Ted Bates bought me, and from Norwich to Southampton. And, you know, I was very excited, I was thrilled about playing in the First Division. And I had a great system to play with. I had Terry Payne, John Sydenham as the wingers, I had Martin Chivers, and plus Mickey Shannon. You know, and it was a gifted system for me, the way I played the game. And to score 43 goals in that season was brilliant. You know, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. You know, and I give the fans their money's worth, you know, and that's what I'm proud about. I was 24 years old. Yeah, the second season I finished with George Best. I mean, you know, obviously they knew all about me now because I was the top man in the First Division from the last season, and everywhere I went I was double marked. You know, I used to at half time go to the bathroom, and I get out the bathroom and there's 2 of the opposition stood by the doors waiting for me. You know what I mean? I said, hey man, it's only half time, get over it, you know. You know, I was marked everywhere I went. It was incredible, it really was. But I still managed to finish up top goal scorer with Georgie Best, who to me was a great player. Well, what happened to me with Bestie was that I got a phone call from LA, Los Angeles, and they said, would you like to come over and play for the LA Aztecs? And I said, whoa, my God, yeah, because I was getting old, you know, and the doctor didn't know what to do, whether to keep me playing or just put me to sleep. So I said, no, I think I can still keep playing, you know. So I got this call, and I went over there, and I asked the coach, Terry Fisher, who was the American coach. I said, how did you know about me? He said, oh, they sent us lists from England, who's available. And said, George Best went down the list, and he got to your name straight away, and he said, get in tomorrow. and I got the phone call next day. So Bestie got me into America. This is why I love this guy, you know. He said, get that guy, you know. And I met Bestie at a bar on the Mosa Beach, and I used to go and see him and socialise with him all the time. Wonderful, wonderful man, George. So quiet. But the problem is with George, he kept disappearing, and you can never find him, you know. So that was it, really, you know. But that's how I got to know George best.
All right, the next juicy question was George playing in that famous 4-1 away win, August 16th, 1969?
Yeah, George Best was playing, Dennis Law was playing, Bobby Charlton was playing. They had all the superstars, and to go there with that team and to beat them 4-1 was incredible. I don't think that there's anyone scored 4 goals against Man United except for myself. You know, that's I had a luck on the day. I had great wingers, great system, and I was lucky enough to score the 4 goals. Well, yeah, Bestie was playing. All Man United is the team, best team in the world. It is, you know, the best reputation and everything. And for me to be lucky enough to get those 4 goals was magic.
Wow, fantastic.
To score goals anywhere, to score 4 goals anywhere is a damn good day's work, you know. So I was very proud of myself. Very proud of myself. Well, unfortunately, you know, we don't get much news over here because, you know, America's not really interested in soccer. It's all about baseball, football, and other sports. And, you know, but I just hear rumours. I'm lucky enough to have friends here who are soccer nuts, and the British people, and they're always in touch with the game. Yeah, and, you know, I totally believe that Southampton will come back and be a prime team again. You know, I heard the guy's doing well, the manager's doing great over there, and, you know, it takes time to build up. And, you know, it's, you know, if Southampton ever come back to what they were, it will be fantastic. I mean, I totally love that club, and I know one day they're going to do it and become the best again. Oh, Ted Bates was the nicest guy you could wish to meet. You know, we went to one game, we got beat 7-0. He never lost his temper, he didn't do anything. But he's a wonderful man. He signed me. You know, I really, really never played well against Southampton when I was playing for Norwich City. I didn't really play that well, but he must have seen something special. And he paid a club fee to get me to Southampton. And that was fantastic. I mean, the guy was very smart. I loved him to death. He was a total gentleman. I know he's passed on now, but to me, I just miss him. You know, I just miss him. You know, I just respected him as a manager and the way he treated players. You know, he was a really, really great guy. And, you know, he was Southampton Football Club. He was Southampton Football Club. And, you know, he's gone now, and God rest his soul. I wish him, you know, I wish the club and everybody involved with him all the best in the world. Yeah, the last time I came home, I was invited over, and I did a cartoon of him. I did a beautiful big drawing of him, and I gave it to him at the party where we were at, and that was basically the last time I saw him before he passed on. But, you know, that was my contribution to him as a person, to do this caricature. And, you know, that's the least I could give him, you know, because he treated me like a god. He really did, you know, because of what I did for the club. And, you know, without him, I'd never, ever got in the first division, and that was my dream. So I've got to thank him for that. Well, you know, I came to America, and, you know, I was so excited, and I came here, and I'm going, wow, I've finally come to America. You know, all I saw about America and England was watching on TV, you know, all the westerns, all the cowboy shows. I said, I'm finally getting to America. And obviously the game wasn't as tough, you know, it wasn't as tough. You weren't marked as hard. And that's when I was playing with George Best. You know, and to play with Bestie as a striker was a little bit hard. It was a little bit hard because you'd move into different positions to get the ball, and he wouldn't give it to you because he was a genius. He could do what he wanted with the ball. And at the end of the season, I went to not close to the end. I went to my coach and said, "Listen, man, could you please put me as a defender? You know, because I'm getting on a little bit, and it's very frustrating playing up front, you know, with the king." And he said, okay, we'll give you a chance. And I played at the back, and I became a great defender. You know, it's a damn lot easier to play at the back than what it is to play up front. It's a lot easier, especially when you get an old man. Oh, 36, 37, yeah. Oh, I can still hit the ball, yeah. But, you know, I didn't have the service that I got from Southampton Football Club. I'll never get that. John Sydenham and Terry Payne. Man, it was like being in a dream. They just cross the ball, and I'd climb up in the air and stick in the back of the net. You know, it was a dream. Ted Bates said that himself. He said, I can't believe the formation I've got. He said, it's like a dream. He said that in one of his books. You know, and, you know, it's... Man United tried to buy me for like 5 years. They tried to... Matt Busby said, after my 4 goals against United, I was the greatest striker in Europe. I said, I've been trying to buy Ron for 4 years, but Ted wouldn't sell me. You know, Ted was pretty shrewd, you know. That's it. But, yeah, it was... I just had a great life and played in America and I played with and against some great players, and, you know, it's been an adventure. And, but I'll tell you one thing, there's nothing like playing in front of the Southampton crowd. Brilliant. I love those people.
Did the fans here at all, though, appreciate you? I mean, did he ask?
Well, you know, not like Southampton, you know, because, you know, you're playing, at the Aztecs we're playing a $100,000 stadium, a 100,000 seating stadium, and you get like 10,000 people there. It was very hard to get the atmosphere. You know, you could turn out for Southampton and all the crowd would say, give it to Ron on his head. The whole crowd were doing it. You know, at Southampton, who's Ron Davies? You know? I mean, at the Aztecs, who's Ron Davies? You know, but it was a great experience. It was wonderful. Well, the hip is, you know, it's getting worse and worse all the time. I lost my regular job, you know, through the hip. It's difficult for me to walk, and I just want to get it fixed. My wife's helped me so much over the situation. She's been wonderful about it. She does a lot of stuff for me. And, you know, I feel bad being like this, I really do. But, you know, my doctor told me, Dr. Ramsey, God bless his soul, he told me when I was 25, he said, Ron, when you get in your early 50s, 60s, you're not going to be able to walk. And I, you know, being invincible at that age, you think, yeah, you know. You say, but he was right. It caught up with me. It's my left hip. Actually, that's the leg I used to take off with all the time when I was leaping for the ball. And now it's caught up with me, and I just got to get a new hip. I'm going to get this replacement. And if I don't, I'm going to be in a wheelchair within 3 or 4 months. And I really want to thank the Southampton fans and all the promotion they're doing for me. This is going to go towards me getting my hip fixed. I just want to say to Southampton fans, thank you, you made me feel great. You know, I'm so proud to play for you. You sing these songs, and Davies are on his head. I'm getting upset now, by the way. Better switch it off. Switch it off. When the whole crowd singing Give It to Ron on his head, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. And that's what I miss. And every time I scored a goal for the... That's for you guys. That's for you. That's it. You know? And the game won't exist without the fans, and I mean that. You know, players should respect the fans a lot more than what they do, because they're your bread and butter. That's why I love Southampton Football Club. When I was first starting my career at Chester, I had this manager there who was an ex-army personnel, and, you know, he saw me training, and he says, he saw I had a bit of ability. He says, you're going to train in army boots. And I'll get them for you. And he bought me his army boots, and he made me go every day over these hurdles with army boots on, jumping and jumping and jumping. You know, and I'm going, what? But you know what? When I took them off, and I put the soccer boots on, and I went on the field, I felt like I could jump 20 feet in the air, you know. It was all psychological, but it did work. You know, plus it built up my strength in my legs and everything, and it was fabulous, you know. So I'll always thank you for that, you know. With Bill Lampton, the guy called Bill Lampton, man, he, you know, that was something else, you know. I had no idea how good I was in the air until basically I came to Southampton, and that was like years later. You know, I just had this ability. Yeah, and yeah, I just been lucky in my life, you know. I played for Chester, I played for Luton, I played for Norwich City, and I played for Southampton. But I tell you one thing, you know, going through all my career, Southampton fans were the best. They're the greatest.